Hello, my name is Matt Allen and I'm a representative of the Ottawa County Health Department. Welcome to the video Cleaning, Sanitizing, and Preventing Contamination. In this video, we will be discussing proper procedures and frequency of cleaning and sanitizing food contact surfaces. We will also be discussing protecting food from contamination and preventing cross-contamination. Our goal with this video is to deliver educational material to all food service workers, including managers, staff, and others in the food industry. The Michigan Department of Agriculture has set a goal to reduce the risk factors that cause foodborne illness in food service establishments. There are 5 risk factors identified by the Center for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration as the most common causes of foodborne illness. These include poor personal hygiene, improper holding temperatures, inadequate cooking, food and equipment contamination, and food from unsafe sources. A 2009 FDA report tracking the occurrence of risk factor violations indicated that food and equipment contamination may be reported as out of compliance on up to 64% of all inspections. In this video, we will be talking about this risk factor. Remember that cleaning and sanitizing food contact surfaces, as well as preventing contamination, can decrease the risk for foodborne illness. Healthy customers are more likely to be repeat customers. What is contamination? Contamination is anything that is not supposed to be in the food or on a surface. For example, lipstick on a glass, pink slime mold in an ice machine, crusty old food on a plate, or salmonella on a cantaloupe. Prevent contamination to prevent foodborne illness. These are the main points you need to keep in mind while watching this video. Cleaning and sanitizing food contact surfaces is accomplished by washing, rinsing, and sanitizing. Dirty equipment must be cleaned and sanitized using both the proper method and frequency. Food must be protected from contamination. Cross-contamination of bacteria from raw meats to other foods must be prevented. Wash, rinse, sanitize. A food contact surface touches food. For example, cutting board, knife, pan, pop nozzle, or coffee wand. Splash zones of dough mixers, shake mixers, and other equipment are also food contact surfaces. A food contact surface must be washed with soap, rinsed with clean water, sanitized with sanitizer, and then air dried. A particularly dirty object may need to be scraped or pre-soaked. Washing with soap and hot water removes food and debris. Rinsing removes the soap and loose debris. Sanitizing reduces the amount of bacteria on a clean surface to an acceptable level. Air drying prevents recontamination and allows for evaporation. Wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry is the approved method for cleaning a food contact surface. A chemical sanitizer, such as chlorine, quaternary ammonium, or iodine, must be approved for use on food contact surfaces. The sanitizer must have an EPA registration number and directions for sanitizing a food contact surface on its label. Typical concentrations for chlorine are 50 to 200 parts per million, quat 200 parts per million, and iodine 12.5 to 25 parts per million. Mix a sanitizer with the room temperature water following the directions on the label. The concentration stated on the label is what the sanitizer must be maintained at. Alternately, hot water may be used as a sanitizer in either a 3-compartment sink or dish machine. Hot water temperature in a 3-compartment sink must be maintained at to 171 degrees Fahrenheit or above. In a stationary machine to 165 degrees Fahrenheit or above, and in all other machines to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or above. Take care when handling items after hot water sanitization. Test kits monitor the concentration of sanitizer to ensure it is correct and not too high or too low. Test strips are used to test chemical sanitizer concentrations. Heat-sensitive stickers and waterproof high-temperature thermometers can be used to test hot water temperatures. Test kits for sanitizers must be available and used on a regular basis. The wash, rinse, and sanitize method is used in a 3-compartment sink, dish machine, and to clean equipment in place. This makes food contact surfaces clean, safe, and they look good too. Keep equipment safe. Dirty equipment can contaminate food and make food unsafe. Cleaning and sanitizing dirty equipment on a regular basis prevents food contamination. Food contact surfaces at room temperature that touch potentially hazardous foods must be washed, rinsed, and sanitized every 4 hours during continuous use. For example, cutting boards, knives, soft service machine tips, utensils, coffee wands, and etc. This is to prevent bacterial growth. Other food contact surfaces, not in constant use or not at room temperature, must be washed, rinsed, and sanitized when contaminated, when refilled, and/or every 24 hours. For example, a customer's plate after use, an insert pan in a cooler when empty, self-service utensils on a buffet, ice bins, pop nozzles, can opener, etc. Some food contact surfaces may be too large or awkward for the 3-compartment sink or dish machine. Instead, use a clean-in-place method. The clean-in-place method uses 3 buckets, one filled with soap and hot water, one with clean water, and one with sanitizer. The sanitizer may be in a spray bottle. Then, using individual towels or scrubbers, the equipment is thoroughly washed, rinsed, and sanitized, then air-dried. Use the clean-in-place method on equipment such as slicers, mixers, coffee wands, large cutting boards, and so on. The clean-in-place method must be done with proper frequency. Dirty equipment must not touch food. Proper cleaning and sanitizing of dirty equipment using the wash, rinse, and sanitize procedure at the correct frequency can prevent contamination of food and prevent foodborne illness outbreaks in customers. Protect food from contamination. There are other forms of contamination that can cause foodborne illness. Food can be contaminated during storage, service, by pests, and intentionally. You can easily prevent contamination of food. Food must be protected during storage. Food must be stored off the floor and away from splash zones. Food must not be stored under unprotected sewer lines and drain lines. Food must be covered to prevent contamination from dripping overhead, accumulating dust, from chemical spray, and from falling food. Keep food safe and prevent contamination. Food must be protected during service. Customers have been known to accidentally contaminate food by sneezing or coughing on it. For this reason, food on a buffet must be protected with a sneeze guard or cover. Self-service foods must be covered and have designated utensils. Bulk foods on display must be covered with a lid, for example, bagels in a bin. Protect food from customer contamination to keep customers safe and happy. Protect food from pests at all times. Pests such as ants, flies, roaches, centipedes, and mice like human food. Pests, their behaviors and their droppings contaminate food. Store food properly, cover food, and do routine pest prevention inspections in your establishment. Flying pests also like to contaminate food in dining areas, so screens, air curtains, and self-closing doors are required. Prevent pests from entering your facility and get rid of them when they do. Food must be protected from intentional contamination. There is a risk of intentional contamination by an angry customer, disgruntled employee, or act of terrorism. Monitor buffets and self-service foods. Purchase food from safe sources. Allow only staff in the kitchen. Ask for identification for inspectors, delivery drivers, pest control, and so on. Lock your back door. Protect your food, your establishment, and your customers. It's easy to prevent contamination of food. Keep food safe during storage, during service, from pests, and from intentional contamination. Contamination of food can and has caused foodborne illness. Prevent cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is the transfer of bacteria from raw meats to other items, such as ready-to-eat foods, surfaces, and even other raw meats. Bacteria from raw meat can cause foodborne illnesses. Cross-contamination mainly occurs during improper storage and improper food handling. To prevent cross-contamination when storing foods, store raw meats on the bottom shelves. Then, if the raw meat drips, it will land on the floor and not on other foods. Store ready-to-eat food on upper shelves and away from raw meats. If there are multiple raw meats in a cooler, Then place seafood and whole cuts of pork or beef on the upper shelves, then ground pork or beef and poultry on the bottom. There are easy ways to prevent cross-contamination during food handling. First, wash your hands and change your gloves in between touching raw and ready-to-eat foods. Additionally, utensils, cutting boards, meat slicers, and so on must be cleaned and sanitized or changed out in between raw and ready-to-eat foods. Preventing cross-contamination in your establishment is important. It can also be easy with proper procedures and training. Do not let cross-contamination be your fault and cause foodborne illness. Taking an active role in your establishment is critical to the prevention of foodborne illness. Ensuring that employees are following the techniques of cleaning and sanitizing, as well as preventing contamination of food, is important and necessary. Safe food is everyone's responsibility. Can you answer yes to the following questions? Do you know the proper technique for cleaning and sanitizing? Do you know the concentration your sanitizer must be maintained at? Do you store your food to prevent cross-contamination? Do you clean and sanitize in-use food contact surfaces every 4 hours? Do you use different food contact surfaces for raw and ready-to-eat foods? Are all of your staff trained to wash, rinse, and sanitize? Have you trained your employees about preventing contamination? If you answered no to any of the questions above, how will you make changes? Remember to wash, rinse, and sanitize food contact surfaces, protect food and equipment from contamination, and prevent cross-contamination. Please do not let contaminated food or equipment be the source of an outbreak or foodborne illness in your facility. This is Matt Allen with the Ottawa County Health Department, and I want to thank you for watching this video, Cleaning, Sanitizing, and Preventing Contamination.